In this session, we'll be working on the experiment number 2, that is the active filters, wherein we'll be simulating an narrow bandpass filter and narrow bandstop filter. Okay. Now it's a good simulation experiment on active filters, so it allows us to understand the theoretical concepts of our syllabus in a very deep manner. So let us go through our aim. Our aim in this experiment is to design and simulate a narrow bandpass filter and a narrow bandstop filter. So in this session we will not much worry about the design, so we will have it a separate session where we will be interacting about how to design the circuits. Already we have discussed it during the numerical session of active filters. Okay. In this session we will be more concentrating on the simulation aspect of this particular circuit. So we have to be more specific about the process or the steps involved in the analysis, because it is an AC analysis. Okay. So this is circuit diagram for our narrow bandpass filter. Okay. And this is circuit for our narrow bandstop filter. It's appropriately designed with certain constraints or contingencies defined for the filters. Okay, the value of your cutoff frequency, quality factor, and the feedback or the gain of the feedback. Okay, then so the same is true with respect to your bandstop filter. Okay, the same is true with your bandstop filter. Now this is a simulation circuit. So let me see what all components are required now. So the components required are RC, then biasing voltage, which is a positive as well as negative. Okay, and then I do require an oscilloscope, a function generator, and also an op-amp. Okay, so we'll open up our multisim simulation software. So I'll just double click on that and open this multisim simulation software. Okay, and now I start collecting the components required for my simulation. So I'll first go to place, go to component, click first on OK, as ground is available. So first I will take this ground, then this VCC. Okay, then I do require minus VE, that's the negative voltage. Okay, then later I'll go to this group, I'll select basic, and I click on resistor, just place it on my canvas, and then I click on capacitor, so place the same onto my canvas. Okay, and then I do require I could say an op-amp. To have an op-amp I have to select analog family, analog group, in that op-amp. In that I'll get my 741 op-amp. Okay, in that I'll get my 741 op-amp. So I can just click on the same and say OK. Okay, then once if I've got all these components, as you can see onto my circuit. Okay, so this is how all the components are required. So I do require still my function generator and even my oscilloscope. So just have it. I do require a function generator and an oscilloscope. So this is my oscilloscope, and I do require a function generator. Okay, so this is a function generator. So I'll just place it. I'll just keep it such that my inverting terminal is on top. So I'll just flip it, right click on this op-amp, and I can say that flip vertical. By doing as such, I'll be getting my inverting terminal as my first terminal. However, it's up to you whether to have non-inverting at top or inverting at top. Okay, so this is, I'll just arrange the components as per my requirements. So this is sorry, this is my oscilloscope. So output terminal should be here at output terminal. A function generator will go on to my input side. Okay, then next this is negative terminal coming over here. So VEE will go over here and VCC will come onto this terminal. I'll just make it Control R, rotate it and place it such that I can connect to the pin number 7 of this circuit. Okay, then I am going to use my R and C components, okay, to build this narrow bandpass filter. Okay, if I see my circuit, I am having an RC component, so which acts as a phase lead circuit over here, and this is going to act as a phase lag circuit. Okay, so I'll just build this. So I'll be having an R in series with C. Okay, then further I'll be having one more capacitance on top, okay, over which I'll be having a resistance. So first I'll be having a resistance, then the capacitance. Okay, so I'll just copy a resistor and I'll place it over here. Okay, then next I do require a resistor onto a non-inverting terminal as well. Okay, and one more resistor at the junction of R and C, placed in an vertical manner. So just press Ctrl R and place this component. Okay, so I'm having a ground terminal which will be required to provide ground to the circuit. Okay, so let me make the circuit connections now. Okay, so input terminal is connected to one end of the resistance. Input terminal, it's a positive terminal, is connected to one end of the input resistance. Then the other terminal of the resistance is connected to the capacitance. Another terminal is connected to capacitance. Then further, another terminal capacitance is connected to your inverting terminal of your op amp. This has to be connected to inverting terminal of the op amp. Okay, then this input side is completed now, and this has to be connected to the ground. So I'll just copy this ground, I'll just paste it and have a copy of that over here, and I'll just connect the ground to the ground terminal. Okay, then next about this resistance, I'll connect it to junction of R and C. I'll connect this to a junction of R and C, and the terminal will be grounded. Then I'll be having this resistance at non-inverting terminal. See, when I can place it vertical. Okay, I'll connect this resistance to a non-inverting terminal, and I'll connect this to this ground terminal over here. Okay, so this is how is my circuit. Then I'll be connecting this biasing voltage, so negative biasing voltage to pin number 4 and a positive biasing voltage to pin number 7. It means my op amp is biased now. Okay, the op amp is biased properly. Then I need to connect the feedback resistor and the feedback capacitor. So since the feedback, it has to be connected between output terminal and your input, inverting input to be more specific. So this has to be connected to the output as well as onto the input. Okay, and even the same, this capacitance is going to stand such that one terminal will be connected to the output and the terminal to the junction of R and C. So one terminal will be connected to this output and another terminal to the junction of R and C. Okay, then next left out is a load resistance. Okay, so I'll just take one more resistor. I'll just place it over here. So I'll connect this to the output and I'll just place it over here to have my load resistance. Okay, so just to have uniformity, I'll place all the grounds on one plane so that one will not get confused while viewing the circuit. Okay, so I'm just using the arrow key, down arrow key. The appearance of the circuit will be far better. Okay, and now what is that I need to do over here is I need to connect my oscilloscope. Okay, one channel to output, one channel to input, so that I can get the waveform of output versus input. Okay, so let me connect this channel, that is channel A, onto the output side and channel B onto my input. However, the vice versa is also true. No any thumb rule or a specific rule that channel A has to be on to output and channel B has to be on the input. Is up to the user. So I'll connect this channel A onto this output terminal. Okay, so after making the channel A onto the input side, now I will connect this channel A onto the output side. I'll just connect channel B onto my input. Okay, so that I can just view what is my input and output signals. Okay, now I need to just fine tune this circuit as per my design. So this is a narrow band stop filter. So since this is a since it's a narrow band pass filter, I'll just set this value of resistance as 4.7K. So this as 4.7K and this as 0.01 microfarad. And this as 0.01 microfarad. Okay, then this is 6.2 kilo ohm. This is 6.2 kilo ohm. Okay, and this is 100 kilo ohm resistance. 100 kilo ohm resistance. This is also 100K and 0.01 microfarad. So this is also 100K and 0.01 microfarad. Okay, it's a load resistance, it's up to us, so I can just take it as 10K. Just set the value as 10K. Then next is the biasing value, plus 12 and minus 12. So I'll just double click on this. I'll set this value as minus 12 and this value as plus 12. Okay, so now important thing that one should just concentrate over here is that I'll be adding the connectors to the circuit so that I can easily access my output terminal and the input terminal. Okay, So it is just so that I can give naming to this terminals. Okay, so I'll just go to place. Okay, go to connectors, click on global connector. So place one global connector over here, so call it as out. So I'm typing it with the caps lock, out. So it means this is my output terminal. Okay, similarly go to place, click on connector, click on global connector and place it onto your input side, type it as in. So now once these two connectors are placed onto the circuit, now what is that I have or what's the reason why I have placed this as out and why I have placed this as in is very simple. I can get my simulation as V out divided by V in. So this kind of a simulation can be achieved. Okay, so if I just so in this AC simulation, I'm not just going to run this simulation, because if I just run it, I'll be just getting my output waveforms over here. Okay, so depending upon the frequency what I have set. Okay, so let me say this is in terms of a kilohertz signal. Okay, so if I just run the simulation now, so I'll be able to get the signals, my input and output signals. Okay, so what is that I need to just verify. So it is going to saturation, maybe because the amplitude might be too high. So let me say 2 volt signal. Okay, wherein I can get a good kind of a voltage swing, or let me say 1 volt peak. Okay, so you can see, so my circuit is able to produce an input output signal. So wherein if I want to make my channel B, which is my output, if I make this as 0, okay, so I'm able to witness. Okay, so this is my output signal, okay, which is on channel A, and if I make my output 0 to see what is my input, then I can say this is my input signal. Okay, this is my input signal. Okay, so if I want to see both of them, I'll place both AC on channel A and channel B, so that I can view my input as well as the output. Okay, but I am able to witness over here my signal is getting amplified, but I want a frequency response. Okay, my intention is to get a frequency response. So to get that frequency response, what is that I need to do over here is that I need to go to simulate, click on AC analysis, analysis first, and then in analysis I need to select AC analysis. So in this, so the starting frequency I have to select. Let the starting frequency be 1 Hertz and stop frequency be equal to 3 megahertz. Okay, why I am selecting 3 megahertz is since whenever I operate the same circuit onto my hardware, the function generator by Scientific, so I am having its capacity to produce a 3 megahertz signal. So I want both the theoretical and the simulated waveform to match the response. However, there is no harm if at all if you go in terms of gigahertz, you will get the excess points after the 3 megahertz. Okay, the sweep type. Okay, if you see the 3 options available: decade, that is in terms of 10, octave in terms of 8, linear, so in certain steps. Okay, uniform steps I could say. So we have to select it as decade, that is it steps, it sweeps in the fraction of 10. Okay, starting from 1 into 10, 10 into 10, then again 100 into 10, 1000 into 10, like that. So this is number of points per decade. So it indicates from one specific point, okay, that is from one decade to another decade, how many points you would like to compute. So if you increase this point, the accuracy will be high. Okay, so but don't increase it to a very huge extent, because the computational time required will be very huge. And this is about the vertical scale. The vertical scale has to be in terms of decibels, dB. Okay, because I want to define my gain in terms of dB. Okay, and if I need to click on output. So here I can see my variables. So important thing is my V out and V in. So these are two variables which I'm going to use. However, default the simulation is going to compute you current flowing through each component. Okay, what's the power consumed by each component and voltage. Okay, or I can say the node voltages. Okay, I'm interested only in V out and V in, so I want that graph. So to get that graph, so first I need to click on add expression. Over here I need to type that expression. So instead of typing it, I can just double click on that. So I want V out, so I'll double click on V out. Then I want divided by symbol. That symbol is over here. So I double click on this V out symbol, and later I want V in. So I'll double click on V in. Now I say OK. Now I'll get that expression over here. Okay, so just click on this expression and say simulate. So you will get this response, desired response for you. Okay, now I'll just change this into a white background so that I can view it properly. Then I'll click on this grid. So I've got grid for the magnitude plot. So I'll just click on face and click on grid. So I'll get an I could say a grid for the phase plot as well. So this is how I'm able to get an AC analysis. So as you can see, so you said that, let me make you understand. So this is your frequency axis, x-axis, and your y-axis is in terms of magnitude, in terms of dB. Okay, and we said that it has to be in terms of decade. So it means 1 into 10. So steps of 10 it is able to move. Okay, and next is that between one point to another point it has taken some 100 steps as we had defined. So openly saying, so I want to see what's the frequency over here. So this frequency is almost near to 1 kilohertz. Okay, it's almost near to 1 kilohertz. The same is being responded by your phase. Okay, so if I see my design, where how did I design this narrow band pass filter? So I designed it for cutoff frequency of 1 kilohertz. So it means my simulation is working 100% fine as per my design. Okay, so this is what we have to develop in case of this narrow band pass filter. Okay, thank you.